It's the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy Seafood. And guys, I just want to start out the podcast by saying I'm respectfully not talking about my contract with the Exit 52 podcast. Respectfully, I'd like to not. So if you guys would respect that, I would just appreciate it if you would respect that.
I stand with you, and I stand with all contracts not being discussed. Never talk about another man's job.
Respectfully.
Or his pay. Respectfully.
Respectfully.
Do you also give out popcorn for good questions? No?
Do I? Are you asking me?
I don't know. Does anyone?
I didn't bring any popcorn.
I haven't done that before, but I'm willing to give it a shot. It seems like a really nice gesture.
I thought it was a great gesture.
I'm but respectfully, I will give it out respectfully. I won't give it out disrespectfully. I will give it out respectfully. I'll give it out respectfully.
That's big of you.
By the way, shout out to us for being very on the forefront of really not talking about the contract situation for the last 2 weeks. We kind of talked about it, but we were just like, there's nothing to talk about.
We're ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, we've been. So honestly, Lamar should reward us and come on the show.
Probably.
I mean, because we have been respectful of this situation for a while.
Yeah, we'll bring the popcorn.
Yeah, and we will bring. Oh my God, we'll absolutely bring the popcorn.
No drinks.
We'll bring him. We'll bring him.
Can't do it.
Any popcorn he wants. Does he want movie theater popcorn? Does he want a little pop secret? Does he want,
popcorns?
What were your guys' popcorn brands? Were you Orville Redenbacher's guys?
Whatever the blue box was with the just the popcorn on the front, just the movie theater, like
whatever's movie theater. I can't even remember. I mean, I've been known to buy the massive.
You're talking about
Costco.
Oh, what?
I mean,
what's
just like a 96 pack. You're just locked and loaded for years.
I can picture that. Is it Act 2? Is that the one with the popcorn on the front with the this looks like the movie?
That was a dozen question at one point.
Pop Secret and Orville Redenbacher are the ones that always come to my mind as like they
It was Act 2. That was
it Act 2? Okay,
that was the
that's
blockbuster popcorn too.
Yeah,
it was a blockbuster.
Yep. We had a lot of Pop Secret growing up. That is why that sticks in my head.
I will
Act
say,
2. Okay. Act 2 was like in the aisle when you were checking out with the movies at Blockbuster for sure.
I'm a big fan of a good cheddar popcorn.
I was going to say the white cheddar popcorn and the black
white cheddar popcorn
is
smart food. White cheddar is tremendous.
Oh, it's classic.
I used to I could put down a family bag easy, just
100%.
One afternoon. Yes. My fingers would be so filmy by the end.
It's like that, and Doritos is something that you eat and your fingers are just.
You have to shower to get it off. You don't just wash your hands and use a paper towel. So you have to shower.
It's a grimy business. It's a grimy business, but it's so rewarding to eat the white cheddar popcorn.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
I feel like Pop Secret was the one that was around the house growing up.
I think Pop Secret was a pretty popular brand. Orville Redenbacher's kind of the classic with Orville there on the packaging.
What about a kettle? How do you feel about a kettle corn? Like a true fair.
I got to be at a fair. I have to be at a fair for it.
When it is, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, when it's hot, it's very good. Tier. When it's coming out of one of those cauldrons or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Are you guys Fisher's popcorn people?
Yes.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't have it often, but when I do, I'm like, this is very good.
I'm a big fan of any popcorn that comes in a tin with the dividers for the different flavors and stuff.
Yes.
I learned to like those. I learned to like those.
Variety.
For some reason, Maryland women's basketball as a program, their gift to everyone during the holiday season, each department is they bring one of those barrels with the divided popcorn, and everyone is just sticking their grubby mitts in there, and you just don't know if you're getting sick from somebody in there. It's not like the greatest winter thing because you just. Around the office, I mean, people are sick. They're sticking their hands in there. It's just and I'm just going for it. I'm just
take the divide. You take the divider out and shake it up. So now you get all the popcorn.
Oh, that is chaos. We've never done that before. I may do that this year. If
that's great
stuff again.
If you want to stake your claim,
5 years.
Stake your claim to the popcorn and just be like, hey, watch this, and poof. And then you get away the people who are like, oh, I don't like my foods touching and stuff like that. You can really this is Taylor's popcorn now. You're in my world.
I'm not like the biggest caramel person when it dominates something, but on a popcorn, it is the Fisher's caramel popcorn is tremendous.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I was talking popcorn.
Banks, sounds like you go either way on that. That was a very whatever look.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy all popcorns. I'm not exactly a popcorn snob, you know. I don't turn my nose up at much. I don't know. I like to mix it up. Some days
Yeah.
I like a good movie theater. Sometimes I like a cheddar, a white cheddar. Drizzle some caramel on there. I don't know. Have you ever done the M&Ms in the bag?
Never. That
Kind of
sounds good
let
though.
that happen. Yeah, it's
I don't want the chocolate on my hand, like the melted.
I like pulling
warm.
M&Ms
Yeah,
out of
it can be
trail
messy.
mix. Picking M&Ms out of trail mix is one of my favorite things to do.
I'm a big pick anything out of any mix type of guy. I am terrible for mixed ratios.
Like a
I'm the
Chex Mix
worst.
or something. You're picking
Yeah,
stuff
I
out of
will
there.
ruin a ratio at any place I go to. I'll just pick apart one specific ingredient in any mix, and then you'll just be thrown off.
Yeah. We should do a draft with best mixes. Like best things that are mixed.
That could get messy.
We should do that next month for, a certain mix.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or Halloween.
But we're less than a month away.
But yeah,
True.
we are less than a month away. From. I mean, that week is going to be sensational. BBM and then the Taylor Swift. Oh my Lord. I'm wearing a Taylor Swift shirt right now. In honor. Speaking of getting your respectfully. Get your popcorn ready for Ravens Dolphins on Sunday. Transition crushed. As RDT's just watching the Orioles game. Ravens Dolphins 1:00, 2 1-0 teams. If you would like to listen to our analysis breakdown that happened instantly on Sunday.
Sorry, inside the park home run for Gunner. Double and 2 errors.
What's up with Nats Park and
double and 2 errors, but still.
Did Nigel Morgan throw his hat on the ground or his glove on the ground?
Gunner hit a double down the third baseline, and all you see is the left fielder go over to get it, and then it cuts away to the runners, and then it cuts away again, and the left fielder is still running to the ball. I don't know what happened, but it's bizarre. But sorry to cut you off. Go on.
No. I mean, the people have to know. I'm sure there are people that are listening to this that will listen to this show in the future that will enjoy that past version of you celebrating that because they were also watching. So that's great to get that reaction. Ravens, Dolphins, 1 p.m. Sunday, 2 1-0 teams. Lamar versus the 2-9. A Dolphins team that I believe dating back to last year has won either 8 of 9 games or 9 of 10 games, something crazy like that. So they're clearly on a hot streak. Over the course of 2 years, they figured something out. Tua has looked progressively better. They played a Patriots team that maybe it was a week 1 situation, but I think the jury is certainly still out on Mac Jones after that performance to a certain extent. But when we look at it this week, I'll do this first. Anything that we missed instant analysis wise that we didn't shout out, I think that some of the, everything was so offense driven and, some of the injuries that we'll get to. The defensive line, I have to give another shout out to. I think, a lot of the conjecture on Twitter over the past 48 hours about how good that unit played, which is a very good sign for the Ravens and especially Justin Matabuke, who was tremendous. So that's big. And going into this game, going to need to be good against a Dolphins offense that I think if Tua plays well has the potential to be explosive with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
I don't know if Tua is the one I would describe as explosive. It's all the weapons around him.
Can be explosive if he provides
the
pill to the explosive guys.
Sure. Putting a bow on last week though, there was a couple things. I mean, I wrote a pretty long blog and I'm hoping to continue to do this every week where I just dump all my thoughts out, just the blog version of verbal diarrhea. Something that I even forgot to put in the blog was early in the game, John Harbaugh punted on a 4th and 1 at midfield, and it left me baffled. Like, is Stern still on payroll? Like, what's going on with that?
It was weird. It almost was like they didn't. It almost like a calculated thing where it's like, okay, this is the Jets. Their offense is not going to exactly hum. Let's not give them a short field. Let's trust our defense to get the ball back in a little as opposed to like sticking the foot on their throats in the first quarter when maybe they didn't feel like their execution was up to snuff. I almost wonder if they took into account that it was going to take 3 or 4 series to get the execution right. You're right. It is definitely against philosophy of what they've done the last 2 years. I think that's normally one they would go for. But maybe you're like, hey, why would we give this Jets team that we're not going to have to do much to, knock them to the canvas and make them stay and give them any type of momentum? Would be my counter argument to just going with the aggressiveness. But
yeah, I mean, that is the devil's advocate for it, but it's just, yeah, it goes against so much of what has made this team successful the last handful of years, even if it is against the Jets. It was the first or second drive of the season. They went up to the line, the offense did, and John Harbaugh was asked about it after the game, and he said he didn't like the look of what they had out there versus what the Jets were showing them, and so they called a timeout. But to me, that doesn't really explain why you don't just put the offense back out there with different personnel or different play or whatever and still go for it. I just kind of think even like if the Ravens offense hadn't played a lot of snaps together with Lamar quarterback, had no real game action to that point, and you know that it's probably going to be more of like it wasn't a field position game, but it was definitely the kind of game there you want to stake yourself to a lead so that you can kind of control the pace and the narrative of the game. It was a 0-0 game at that point. I really thought that should have even furthered the notion for them to have gone for that. So my ears are perked up that they've kind of looked at some things over the offseason, and there were a lot of tough losses during that losing streak to finish the season where they went for 2 and they came out the wrong side of it. And John Harbaugh was aggressive, and that was the complete opposite of aggressive. So I'm hoping that there hasn't been a shift in philosophy there, but we'll see. I guess it was the only situation in the game really where that type of decision needed to be made, and they played on the safe side.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see how that gets fleshed out in maybe bigger spots.
Yeah.
And if this was a situation where you're trying to kind of ease your way into the year and you're not going to go for the jugular, I think where they've separated themselves is the, for lack of a better term, balls to go for it in giant situations where the stakes are very high, as opposed to in the first quarter where the stakes may be a little bit lower, that it was just like, why would we give anything away at this point, as opposed to trying to finish something? Maybe they could have opened something up. So that is true. Maybe will they change philosophy there? But they do zig when other teams zag, and as maybe teams buy more into the aggressiveness, the Ravens find that they go the other way analytically. I don't know. We'll see. That's I think a good point to bring up, but maybe they'll get put in a situation this week, and we'll see how they react.
Yeah, bigger picture. In hindsight, thinking about what we talked about immediately after the game, it's probably a little too hard on the team. I kind of in reflection, like, hey, like I just mentioned, the offense had not been out there with Lamar Jackson at all. They were going to play their way kind of into a groove, and that's what you saw in the second half. They didn't really do much the first 25 minutes, but once. I mean, somebody pointed out on Twitter, I forget who it was, that there was a pass interference call that I believe it was DeMarcus Robinson drew for like a good 30 yards. And then from that point on, the Ravens started taking some shots down the field. They started to move the ball. Lamar, he was completing passes before, but they weren't for much. It was everything underneath, maybe by design. Maybe they scripted the first handful of plays, and the plays were just super, super conservative. They were just trying to fill some things out, and then once they got on beyond that and opened things up, they really hummed. So that was a good sign to see, and obviously the defense. I mean, I don't know what more you could really ask for them on Sunday. They gave up a late touchdown, but up to that point, it was a 3-point defensive performance for 58 minutes. So that's an awesome game for the defense. So my outlook, I think my notion during the incident analysis on Sunday was like, oh, I feel worse about this team than I did going into Sunday. I don't know that I still feel that same way. I still feel good about the team and the direction they're in. And I'm excited to see them try to get some revenge against Miami this week, because that was, of all the games last season, there were a lot of frustrating ones, but I think that was the one from beginning to end that was the most frustrating game of the season for us.
That one had to be frustrating because, again, like looking back on it, that was a game that, because the Dolphins had lost seven. Was that their seventh? Was that the one that started their win streak? I think, because they lost 7 in a row and then they won 7 in a row. And I just remember us. I think we were like, that's the get right game. That's the game that, oh, it's a Thursday night. It's in Miami. Blah blah blah. Who cares? Like the Ravens are going to smoke them. So yeah, I think there definitely is a little bit of a revenge factor going on. I'm just excited. I think the wide receivers, because we don't know if Marcus is playing yet, right? I would assume. I know we practiced today. I saw.
Feels a lot like guys are going to come back for this game
Well,
for the most part. Ronnie
mean,
Stanley probably notwithstanding, but my instinct is that Peters plays. My instinct is that J.K. Dobbins plays, probably on a pitch count. But it feels like this is a game where we're going to start to see some more guys come back.
I'm very excited to see how they line up the secondary, like with the two weapons with Tyreek and Waddle versus assuming Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. Because again, those are two fantastic players on the Dolphins versus two very good cornerbacks on the Ravens. So I think that matchup is going to be very exciting, I think, for me from a fantasy standpoint too, because I have Jalen Waddle. So I need some points out of him. How'd they get that in?
Yeah.
No one works in their fantasy narratives quite like you. We always have to talk about your fantasy team.
Way more people work in their fantasy narratives.
We always have to talk about your fantasy.
I haven't talked at all about my fantasy team and what it did last weekend.
You're not a big fan.
No, well, you're respectful. You're respectful to no one wants to hear about your fantasy team. You can talk about your fantasy team if you want.
No, I don't need to. I've communicated to the losing team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, classic. That was
respectful. Respectful.
Oh, it was all respect. It was all respect. Yeah. I mean, you put the absolute hurt on me this week. You destroyed me.
Little B did.
Little B. Sure. And this is a league where you are looking to really rebound from some previous struggles from some previous regimes that were not good. So it was good. That was a little bit of a statement
postseason.
Yeah, a little bit of a statement of intent from your new regime of your team, because it has been a struggle, but hell of a performance.
He's got our quarterback under contract. Oh, I said the C word.
Put $1 on the jar.
Respectful. If I just say respectful enough times, like it all goes away, right?
I do agree with you, Banks, in the sense of transitioning from week 1 to week 2, the expectations are just so high. I think week to week, we play a little bit of an expectations game. And, when we're predicting last Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever we recorded the pod saying, Ravens 35-13, Ravens 38-10, whatever those, predictions looked like. And you even said, Banks, you were like, this is going to be 21-3 at the half. They're going to be rolling, blah, blah, blah. When that is like in your head going into the game, your instant analysis reaction a lot of the time is going to be, well, that was ho-hum and we didn't do what I expected us to do. But then when you, like you said, when you break it down like that, there were a lot of positives to glean. And you hope that they take that next step this week to play a Dolphins team that is just definitely better than the Jets. You're playing them at home, so that's obviously an advantage. But you hope that they now, maybe look a little crisper. I think that was the issue is the score line was good and the, progression throughout the game was in a positive direction. But offensively, there was just not a crispness that we've seen at times at the beginning of a year. When you compare it to week 1 against the Dolphins on the road against a bad team where you blow them out and they look crisp and whatever. And maybe that was too much to expect with a lack of preseason reps. And we touched on that a little bit on Sunday, but you hope that each week, maybe that type of poor start or conservative start goes away and you kind of see what the team can be. I think we have to touch on the 2 season-ending injuries, which are a concern. I think Jawan James, no matter if he, played left tackle all year or where he ended up in that rotation, to not have him as a valuable backup piece or as a starter until Ronnie Stanley finds some type of form is a loss for sure. And that's going to test the Ravens offensive line depth immediately, which is a concern. And on the other place where the Ravens don't have a ton of proven depth, Kyle Fuller goes down with a season-ending injury, which is even worse because Juwan James is bad. The guy's been through injury after injury. I feel bad for Kyle Fuller. You come back, you sign with your hometown team, and you play one game, and then you're out. So really, you're gutted for both of those guys. But now the Ravens are in a situation where unless Marcus Peters comes back, behind Marlon Humphrey, the cornerback options are, inexperienced. Brandon Stevens is definitely going to get reps, and then you move down to some of those rookie guys that are going to have to get on the field early. And, we've seen Ravens, 4th and 5th round picks get on the field early and perform really, really well. But you hope that Marcus Peters is back to full health and you don't have to, rely on a ton from, Pepe Williams or Jalen Arbor-Davis if he's ready to go or whatever it may be. So hopefully Peters returns and hopefully J.K. Dobbins returns, and, that mitigates a little bit of the defensive back unit, and the Ravens have an explosive option at running back because God bless Kenyon Drake. I don't know how many weeks I need to see Kenyon Drake, toting the rock as the main ball carrier for this football team. So,
on that, we posted that Jamal Lewis clip today, and someone retweeted it and said, "This is the burst that I wish J.K. Dobbins has had. Time to look for a new running back in the 2023 draft." And I was like, what are you talking about? Like that? What do you mean? Like, number one, first off, Jamal Lewis and J.K. Dobbins were two completely different players. They could not be more like opposite players. It was a very weird thing to say.
Blew my mind today was discovering that J.K. Dobbins has never played in front of a crowd at M&T Bank Stadium or any crowd in the NFL.
Well, when he played in 2020, they had it just wasn't the full crowd. Someone said that they were like,
I guess there was some
4,000,
there were fans,
6,000, whatever, whatever.
Towards the end of the season,
yeah, like the Steelers game, the Titans game, there were fans, I think. But yeah, like he hasn't played in more than in front of what? When was the last scrimmage? At the Ravens, like 10,000, 12,000,
whatever that was.
Yeah.
He's never seen a full bank. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
And his interview with his show at Jimmy's, where he talked about, what did he say? He tore his ACL, like LCL. Like he completely tore it all up. Like he really went into detail about the injury and how like significant and bad it really was. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, he tore his ACL. It's like he tore everything in the knee.
Mm-hmm.
That was eye-opening, and shows you that his return was also his return clearly was nowhere near guaranteed. When you do all that to your knee, like obviously they have perfected ACL, all these different surgeries, and everyone heals differently. But it feels like when someone tears their ACL, they're going to come back to pretty high level of health. But like that was a stunning revelation that, you're right, had not really been reported.
But yeah, like nobody talked about it. It was all like, he should.
All this stuff happened.
I'm trying to find the exact, like what his quote where he listed it all: ACL, LCL, hamstring, and meniscus. That's a ton. That's nuts.
Yeah.
No wonder.
There were also like so many injuries last year where once they started coming, it was like a tidal wave where we just like didn't even pay attention to the fine details of what exactly happened to each of them. It was like, oh, he's gone. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Plus, I think, if I remember right, that J.K. Dobbins and Marcus Peters, that day was one of the days I was up at Caves Valley for the BMW Championship, and I think a lot of people were just like very focused on that, and I was like, oh, fuck, what's going on down the road? Yeah. It was kind of a very jarring day for everybody.
Not fun.
Not a fun day.
No.
Just like Miami Thursday Night Football last year was no fun. It was the blitzes. I mean, those guys brought the house against Lamar Jackson last year, and he did not react well to it. And so I think this is one of Greg Roman's like biggest tasks he's had yet, where he has to go to the chalkboard and really figure out and right some wrongs and figure out, how do we mitigate this? Because Miami has blitzed the hell out of every team, pretty much. Nobody's blitzed more than they have since week 1 last year. That includes Wink Martindale's Ravens. I mean, we blitzed a lot less last year because of what happened with all the injuries, but these guys are going to throw the kitchen sink at Lamar, and it's going to be really interesting to see how we scheme up protection to pick up blitzers and get the ball out quick and do all kinds of things to just try to mitigate what they're going to throw at us. So it's going to be a very, very interesting football game in that regard. And we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to see an adjustment here from Lamar and company. But you just don't know until you know. So
I think he had a good quote today, Lamar, when they asked him about it, like the cover zero. And he was like, yeah, I think, hopefully we play better against it this time. Cause again, it's like, kind of know what they're going to do now. Like you said, I know Spencer put out some clips of them, I think, running cover zero again, just no safety back there. And he was just like, Mike McDonald's a madman. Like again, we'll see how well they adjust. Cause they did not, that was the game again. Like we already talked about it, but that game just threw everyone for a loop last year. Like national media.
By the way, shows you how much they respected Mac Jones and his ability to throw against that. And the Patriots' inability to really establish any sort of running game. That's the other thing. The Ravens have to figure out a way to run the ball.
So I did go back and I watched, because it's, we play New England next week. So I figured, hey, I'm going to go watch this Patriots Dolphins game. So I watched that Monday night condensed game replay. New England was kind of having their way with Miami on the ground in the early going.
That's
I
fair.
know we struggled against them, or not against them, but on the ground on Sunday ourselves.
Maybe I'm thinking my lack of looking at Damian Harris fantasy points, but maybe it was Ramondre Stevenson.
It might be, but they kind of hit a brick wall there and had to throw the ball eventually. But yeah, the Patriots were driving. They moved the football well in the early going. They got it. The Dolphins got away with an egregious pass interference that resulted in an interception in the end zone. And I think it changed the dynamic of that game completely. The way I see Miami constructed and the way that we're constructed, it's very much a game where we're each going to want to get out in front and try to control the pace and force the other team into, some uncomfortable situations. So I did, as I watched that game between New England and Miami, I just couldn't help but think that if that drive went differently for Miami or for New England, like the dynamic of the entire game could have been different. That they would have stuck to the ground a lot more. And that was probably the right way to combat all the blitzing that Miami did. I mean, once Miami had the lead, they were just like hounds going after Mac Jones. And so I'm hopeful, and I just think it's paramount that should we get a 4th and 1 at midfield early in the game, I think that we should go for it. And I think we should go down the field and make sure we put points on the board. So
yeah, when you look at the, I didn't watch the Miami New England game except for the little stuff I got on.
New England is sloppy. Oh my!
Well,
goodness.
that's
Belichick is washed.
That's also really the story of the game. When you look at, total yards, not that big of a separation. If we're, this is box score analysis, so take this for what it is. But total plays around the same, like a 30-yard difference in total yards. First downs, 18 for Miami, 17 for New England. But this is a classic, like, win the turnover battle, win the game. Miami didn't turn it over, and New England turned it over 3 times. So
yeah,
that turns into 20-7. And I think, by the way, I think that's what they're going to ask Tua to do. I think they're going to ask Tua to, figure out a way to get the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill 7 to 10 times a game, Waddle 5 to 7 times a game, and just do not turn the ball over. Just don't turn it over to it. Just allow us to manage the game. And, they couldn't run the ball either. They ran it 23 times for 65 yards. New England ran it 22 times for 78 yards. I don't know the split half to half. So maybe it started off well, like you said, thanks. And then you continued on, but
they were getting,
it didn't sound like the greatest game. So it didn't like, Miami won the game, but how impressive were they? I think that's a little up for debate.
Yeah. Miami had a handful of splash plays, but they were very consistent with quick passes, a lot of slants, a lot of short stuff, a lot of stuff that kept Tua's throws in the middle of the field and short. He throws a good ball on those quick slants. But there was definitely, when Tua was pressured, when Tua had to throw to the boundaries, throw it deep, he shades of Donovan McNabb. He throws a great bounce pass. And then there were a couple deep shots, and a couple times he rolled out and was pressured and just made stupid decisions, and the Patriots just dropped an interception or didn't capitalize. So There was kind of like, when you watch your team play and then you catch highlights and you catch some red zone and whatever, like there's a narrative that you kind of get from through red zone or through like the highlights at halftime or through these other games, painted a picture that the Dolphins like dominated that game. The Patriots just stunk. And the Dolphins, I mean, they played a clean game. There's something to be said about that, but they also didn't really like do anything all that impressive. Heck, the touchdown to Waddle at half was like
4th and 7.
just like a freak play.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like there were so many plays that I saw that were just like, this is a Belichick coach team. Like it was whack. So the Dolphins seem well coached. Mike McDaniel seems like he's really got his stuff figured out. And they threw some creative stuff in there in terms of those short passes and like little screens and all that kind of stuff. But it's a matter of them just trying to get the ball in those guys' hands, the Waddles and the Tyreeks and all that. And if we can just, I mean, this is where you hope that a Marcus Peters is out there and you've got your safeties out there that are going to do their job well. I really feel good about our ability to contain them. So I would probably lean towards the under in this game. I think it's 44.5. But we'll see.
I was gonna say the Titans played the Dolphins late last year, like 15 or 16. And if you get pressure on Tua, like you were saying, like he kind of panics. He throws a lot of balls up. He'll fumble the ball too. Like he has no problem fumbling the ball. So I mean, again, if their defensive line can just get push on him, it's the same thing. Like you move him in the pocket. Again, you want to talk about a Marcus Peters, like he's going to throw one across his body, to the right side to try and squeeze one in. A house call. I mean, it's a perfect, welcome back present for Marcus Peters if he's looking for one. He's accurate too, but again, it's nothing long. It's all just like almost like those just extended handoffs. Like Gesicki's a good player. He hasn't been a great player recently,
way to put it.
But I think the Ravens defense has their way with them this week.
Predictions.
Ravens 24, Dolphins 21.
Ooh, I was thinking you said take the under 44.5. I had already.
Yeah, I guess I just took it over. But
well, that's the Stephen A. Smith last week.
Yeah.
that was awesome. Well, maybe the lines moved to 45. I don't know.
I had already had in my head 24-20 Ravens, so I'll stick with that, and I will take the under on that.
What'd you say, RDT? I'm sorry.
24-20 Ravens.
I'm gonna go Ravens 27, Dolphins 17.
Yeah, 17 seems right. We talked about how the Ravens defense should have their way, and then I said 20 points. So.
Yeah, I just think you're gonna get beat. You get beat one time by Tyreek Hill if Tua makes the throw. That's just a threat every time, and they'll figure out a way to score. But I think the Ravens move to 2-0. Ravens move to 2-0. Have you guys seen the announced team for this, or do I need to?
Oh, I saw it earlier. I forgot. I saw it like Monday or Tuesday. Saw it like very early.
Kevin Harlan in the building.
I did see that.
Very nice. Love me some Kevin Harlan. Let's move to the Baltimore Orioles. Look, I feel like I sound like a broken record on this every week, but this is getting late early at this point for a wild card spot. 5 games back as they play right now. RDT, you want to give us a live score update?
Yeah, Taron Valver just got thrown out it was a good play. He stretched a single into a double. They're up 5-2 in the 8th on the Nationals. Which again, I mean, these are the games that they need to win. They need to beat the bad teams. The Nationals are the worst team in baseball. Then they have a day off tomorrow, which is, I mean, very weird schedule this week. They had a day off Monday, 2-game series in DC, so they're not traveling, and then a day off Thursday before they head to Toronto for, again, I mean, it's the biggest series that they've had this year since last week. Like, those are the games you like you said, it's getting late early. We're getting down to like, you have to start sweeping series and you have to hope that these other teams are losing. The 5 games back feels like, I mean, people are already kind of burying them, being like, well, this was a fun season and all. 5 games back it's a lot, but it's not an insurmountable lead. Again, they got Tyler Wells back. Guys are starting to heat up, and Ryan Mountcastle has had a great September. His home run, I don't know if you guys saw it last night, off of Hunter Harvey, who is his best friend and old roommate. They
it was a fun moment. That was a
were
fun moment.
smiling at each other the entire way around the bases. It was hilarious. It was very funny. He's hitting the ball really well. Cedric's kind of coming back. Gunnar had an inside the park home run, triple in an air, whatever you want to call it tonight. He's hitting 306 in his first 2 weeks. Like, guys are starting to heat up again. Again, it's the Blue Jays, man. It's this hump that they're going to have to get over it eventually. And this series coming up is a big one. Again, I think right now, what are they, 70? Let me see. 70.
They're 74 and 67. I can run through it here. I have it in front of me. So the Mariners won today. They're 80 and 62. Toronto's leading Tampa Bay. Toronto's 80 and 62. Tampa Bay is 79 and 62. Say that moves to 81 and 62 and 79 and 63. The Orioles, I mean, they have to win this game and get to 75 and 67. As you said, they then go to Toronto, where if you sweep a series, you're right there. You've pegged the team back and you're 2 games back and you're right there.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't feel like the way they're playing, they can go into Toronto and sweep them.
Yeah.
So if the best they can do is 2 out of 3, you've pegged them back a little bit, but then, you've got to, they have 20 games left after they play tonight. I don't know if they can do worse than 13 and 7, 14 and 6.
Yeah.
Like, it's 13 and 7. The floor that could still get them in if someone collapses probably gets them close. Like, if they win tonight and go that they're 80, they win 88 games, that's close.
Yeah.
But you'd like to
do it, but
may not do it. Tampa, if Tampa loses tonight, they're now the team in view. And the Orioles will be 4 games back of Tampa.
Tampa has the tiebreaker on them. So that's basically another game,
Yeah. So they've got to go on that type of stretch. I don't think they could they can't go like 11 and 9 or something like that. It's just not going to get it done. You've got to put together and win, 13 or 14 of these games. And they haven't gotten there over the past, they had, I think, a real big opportunity the last like 20 to 25 games to, at this point be down like 1 or 2 games and really be in the thick of it. And right now they're kind of hanging on behind these 3 teams. And they're really the lone team in the mix. The White Sox are out of it. The Twins are out of it. It's the Orioles and these 3 teams above them that are in the mix for the wild card at this point.
I did this like exact mental gymnastics yesterday when we had 140 games played, 73 and 67. I was like, 22 games left. I think they got to go 15 and 7. And then with 3 teams, you just need 1 of 3 of them. If you look at it, you just need 1 of them to go 10 and 12, and you've made up that ground. And so that might be a little bit ambitious, but I think that's just kind of the roadmap to make it happen.
Gunnar Henderson just had another RBI double too. He's so good.
He's incredible.
He's unreal.
It's an interesting schedule. You've got, they have a huge home stretch. If they can't, this is the prime scenario for the Orioles if this goes well. If you can figure out a way to go to Toronto and win 2 out of 3, you then get 7 consecutive games at home to really make a push in your home ballpark before you've got to go for 7 on the road at Boston and at New York. Mm-hmm. And they've got to win 5 out of 7 at home. I think they've got to really protect, and obviously we've said this for 3 weeks. So this is a broken record situation, but if you can get to Toronto and be in striking distance of Toronto at home in the last series, I think that's a success based on where they are right now, but they've got to play better baseball than they have been to get there.
Yeah. And again, that's what it comes down to. They have to play better. The offense has been horrible. Again, they're kind of busting out tonight. 6 runs, again, Patrick Corbin is statistically the worst pitcher in baseball and held them to 1 run over 6 innings tonight. They have to hit better with guys in scoring position. They've been terrible with that. And yeah, I mean, that 7-game homestand, 3 against Detroit, you have to sweep them. Again, they're either the worst or the second worst team in the AL. And then the big thing is Houston comes in for 4. That won't be easy at all. And then, like you mentioned, going to Boston will be, I mean, they're kind of rolling over and letting letting the Yankees pet their belly.
They've rolled over a little bit the last. They're rolling over a little bit tonight too. They're not.
Yeah.
Here's
then-
the bright side though, is Houston's 12.5 up in the division.
They should have things locked up, and like I think they will.
It's going to be right about that. So I mean, we might get that hangover game in game 1 or something.
Yeah, where they clinch, they may clinch before and just throw out whoever. We may see Trey pitch in one of these games or something for them. But yeah, I mean, they've got work to do. And again, I think no one is saying that it's like a failed season, and because again, we thought they're going to win 25 more games than we thought they would. So I don't think you can be upset about that. But yeah, I mean, if like we've been saying for weeks, if they can go into that Toronto series, that's got to be like you pack the yard. We're doing podcasts from center field, like. That could be a very fun, what is it, like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday, Monday, whatever it is. Thinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah,
it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Stuff to do. Here you go, real quick. Nathan Ruiz tweets: Gunnar Henderson, the youngest position player in the majors, is hitting 320 with an 890 OPS 2 weeks into his big league career.
Star.
Stud.
I'd say something, just generally speaking.
Go off.
I'm really sick of people bitching about the Orioles lineup every time it gets released on Twitter.
It's the worst.
It's exhausting. Like, especially there's a lot of people that they just don't see the big name that they recognize in the lineup, and they just assume like, oh, we're just mailing this one in.
It's a punt lineup.
Oh, we're
Sunday lineup.
No, we're like tonight they're playing against Patrick Corbin, left-handed pitcher. Cedric Mullins is hitting like 200 against left-handed pitchers. Ryan McKenna is hitting
over 300.
I don't know, 270. Yeah, he's hitting well against. So that makes total sense. And there's tons of examples like that. I don't even know if we did this on the podcast or not, but like you can't run Adley out there behind the plate every single game. Chirinos is useless against right-handed pitchers. So like when you have a left-handed pitcher, that's the perfect time to at least try to give Adley his relief and give him a night off or give him a DH spot or whatever. Like there's just tons of little scenarios where people just like don't even think to look at the splits or think about the strategic element of it. They just bitch because it's not Cedric Mullins hit first, things like that.
Yeah, I had this exact conversation today where I said this is a funky looking lineup, but like let's go out and sweep. And the guy goes, "How can you sit Mullins? They have an off day tomorrow." And I go, have you seen Mullins' numbers against lefties? And he goes, but Austin Hayes has been just as bad. And I'm like, no, okay, that's not it. Have you seen Cedric Mullins' numbers against lefties? And his response
was league worst. Like he's really bad.
He was right at 200, I think. And the guy's response was, well, last year he was really good. And I'm like, well, last year was last year. That has nothing to do with the lineup.
We lost 100 games last year.
Like, what are you doing?
Also, that would have been nice to say 100 games ago when it's early in the year, but we've got a lot of sample at this point.
And that's what he said. He goes, well, why is this the game that he decided to do that? And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is, I can't stand it. And like, I talked to people with the Orioles and they said the same thing. They were like, every mention on the lineup card is just like, this guy plays. It's like Adley has started. I think he's caught the third most games since the day he was called up. Like, what else do you want them to do? Guys need days off. If Brandon Hyde runs Adley out there 8 games in a row and he gets hurt, they're going to be like, oh, you can't play him 8 days in a row. You can't do that. Like, you can't just, it's not a video game. You can't just throw these guys out there every day and expect like, their top performance. Like, guys need rest. The matchups happen. Like, those things occur. I told the guy, I said, watch, we'll get a Cedric Mullins pinch hit the second that Patrick Corbin comes out. And what happens? They pull him. Mullins gets an at-bat. Like, calm down.
He's got 2 hits.
The freaking out every single time over the lineup kills me.
The thing is, people will justify that as to why he should have played the whole game and not.
See, should have pat him in. Corbin's the worst pitcher in baseball. And it's like, he's a fucking lefty. These guys just, again, they bitch just to bitch. They have to bitch about something. I said, these are the same people who, when the Orioles win the World Series,
rat's ass about the Orioles last year.
No, they're again, this is the Ravens casual fans that I think have come over, and it's fine, be a fan, but these are the people who
gatekeep them. Gatekeep the fandom. Come on, gatekeep. I know you want to. You're too nice. Gatekeep them. Keep them out. Keep them out. Close the gate, RDT. Close the gate.
If the Orioles win the World Series and they have a parade on Thursday, they'll be like, couldn't have it on a Tuesday. Couldn't do it on a Monday. Like fucking Elias, common Elias L. There you go.
RDT doesn't want you. Doesn't want you.
No.
Does not want you.
Go back to Dundalk or Essex.
Oh yeah.
We're taking shots at neighborhoods.
I love
Oh
Dundalk.
no.
I love that.
Yeah. Go off. Go off. Get him.
I'm done.
Oh, you've been wanting to say that for weeks and weeks and weeks. The casuals.
I just casuals kill me. That's why, like, I'm so happy football's back because it's like, all right, just go pretend to know everything about Lamar's contract. Just go
Dundalk
pretend to
and
know
Essex.
everything.
It's like the same shot that you just took. Like,
It's whatever. It's whatever.
What a tough ricochet for Dundalk and Essex.
they'll be in the parking lot on Sunday in their camo.
Yeah. It's the Stavi quote. Like, they're still, they were kind of pulling for.
I don't know about that Flacco, but I like that Flacco.
No, the people of Dundalk know I love them. They know that. I have many.
Yes, you're beloved. You're absolutely beloved in Dundalk. Absolutely beloved. No, I mean it's one of those things, and you sort of said it. And I'm not someone that is watching all 9 innings of these games every night, and it's also why when lineups come up, I don't lose my mind about them because I'm not looking at every split. So it's like, why would I? This stuff isn't egregious. Like, if Cedric Mullins was doing well against these guys, he would play. He's Cedric Mullins. You have to go find the reason. People just don't like to, people in life don't like to find solutions, and they don't like to find facts. They just say what they think without anything.
They don't like critical thinking.
That is what social media is, which is unfortunate. Honestly, non-critical thinking Twitter probably should have been the number 1 pick of the draft last week, which also just is all of Twitter. So
Small brain Twitter.
Like, get a grip.
Apparently, small brain Twitter lives in Dundalk and Essex.
By the way, it's 6-2, and the Orioles have 11 hits, and this is one of their better offensive performances in the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is sad considering they only have 6 runs.
But Brandon Hyde, he doesn't know how to put together a lineup. That's another thing. They're like, I don't like, some of the stuff is not coming from Brandon Hyde. Like, he's not making every lineup. Like, Elias has to have either, the numbers, the analytics. Like, people are just. I want to choke myself when I see half these responses.
Whoever is making the lineup has improved this team by 30 games this year. Like, what are we even talking about?
Apparently, that's it's a very easy thing to do. I've had people text me saying that they don't want Brandon Hyde to win Manager of the Year because they think he's a bad manager.
I just don't know what people want.
We've also been.
By the way, I know this has been a situation where, like, the stat since Adley Rushman has gotten called up is like the big stat, and so whatever, he gets a lot of credit, and he's been amazing. It's our guy. He's been unbelievable. Like, Brandon Hyde could have, we've talked about this before, but could have lost this situation like 4,000 times over the past few years. Like, he could easily not be the manager right now. They could have easily had guys tune him out, but like, all we've talked about all year is how seemingly steadfast they've been behind this guy, and you don't hear guys after the game questioning Brandon Hyde's lineup or questioning his decisions. There's no dissension. There's nothing. They've just, as you said, improved by 30 games. They could potentially win 85 games. Like, I think the guy's clearly the manager of the year. It's one of the great turnarounds. Everyone thought this team was going to lose 100 games. What they've done pitching wise has been amazing. That's Brandon Hyde's staff. The questioning, now you guys got me fired up. The questioning of him night after night, to me, from people sitting on the couch, needs to kind of calm down. This is still not an unbelievable roster. Like, it has gotten better from a talent standpoint now that you have, a number 1 overall pick, and you have Gunnar, and you have all these guys. But I know Cedric Mullins was an all-star last year, but you still have, a guy that has been an all-star for 1 year and is probably now dropped back to where Cedric Mullins is probably going to be in his career. You have Austin Hayes, fine. Anthony Santander hits a lot of home runs. He's fine. Like, this isn't, stud after stud in the lineup by any means. And Brandon Hyde is getting the most out of these guys day to day. Jorge Mateo is barely stuck in the league. Now he's a guy that is running out every night. He struggled lately, but he had a really nice run and has been a player that fans have fallen in love with. I'm just looking literally down the lineup tonight. Like, he's getting a lot out of guys night to night. I didn't. Now I can't believe I'm even going on this rant. You guys have got me to go on this rant.
No, but
it's bizarre to me that you wouldn't be like, if I'm a fan in Baltimore, I feel unbelievable right now about the two coaches I have standing in the dugout and sitting on the sideline at these two stadiums that are 50 feet apart. One guy has a clearly established culture over a decade, and everyone wants him out every 2 weeks. And the other guy has survived 200 lost seasons and has guys still following him. And all of the progression has been good as the talented players have come up. So he's putting the talented guys in position. When he had a bad roster, he lost. The roster sucked. Like, if they continue to suck as they brought up guys like Gunner and brought up guys like Adley, and this is still 110 loss team, then sure, fire him. Brandon Hyde at that point has to go. You got to bring somebody in that can get that done. But at this point, there's no reason to believe they're not going to keep taking steps. And if they stop taking steps, Brandon Hyde will lose his job. But at this point, I think you have to give the guy a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And Brandon Hyde has gotten no credit for 2 years. He's on a bad team. He's got to, for Orioles fans to do that. And I think most reasonable fans are not doing that. So this is not a commentary on the whole fan base, but I've been thrilled with the guy. I also think he, does a nice job in press conferences and a nice leader of the team. He's not out of pocket. He's just a baseball guy. I don't know why it's weird to me that people go after him all the time.
I don't know, but Ravens fan Lamar Stan 52 on Twitter says that he doesn't know how to put together a lineup. So, what does he know? He's only been on a World Series winning staff. Who knows though?
We'll leave it at that. The Orioles have to play better offense down the stretch. I think they've continued to pitch pretty well. They've got to raise the level, and they'll give themselves a chance. We'll maybe be back here. This is, by the way, I think though, when we podcast next Wednesday, if it's still at 5 games, I don't really, we're going to be in a pretty desperate situation there with.
And again, it's not like if they go into they're basically their last homestand. If they have 15 games left and they're 5 games back, like, we're going to see them down in the dumps, but
it's still there. It is still right there.
It's also, again, this is a team that we thought was going to win 65 games, and it's the end of September. But October, and we're going to be like, hey, playoffs.
The reason I say if we pod Wednesday is because you're going to be through most of that Detroit series. We'll pod in the middle of the 3rd game. If they've somehow lost the first 2 games of the Detroit series, or something crazy like that, then it's just you're just losing because you just don't think you're gonna sweep 4 against Houston or sweep 4 against Boston. Like, you've got to win the games against the teams you're expected to.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see all in all, we'll do this for the next 3 weeks. Probably this is just continues to be fun, and the Orioles continue to have good moments and bad moments. And it's nice to have a team that's in contention, that's fun to ride the wave with, as opposed to just fall off a cliff with from the beginning of the year. I think that
winner of the MASN Cup yet again.
Oh, huge. Love the MASN Cup. The Niger Morgan clip that you tweeted is so funny every single time. It's an amazing clip.
I was so mad that I did not tweet that yesterday. Like, I saw it last night and was like, how did I not do that?
Jim Hunter on the call is just like, Juan Samuel saw it all the way. It's like, yeah, he did. The guy's freaking out in center field. It's the call. Jim Hunter undersells how ridiculous the play is in the call. He calls it like a normal play. And then he's like, I guess. I think
he thought it went over the wall.
Went over the fence. Like, maybe he just wasn't, as the ball hit the fence, he saw it and then just watched Jones go into second and didn't watch. So depending on what he's watching, maybe he missed if you see Niger Morgan toss the glove down in disgust as the ball's still in play, I don't know how that doesn't just dominate the rest of the call. It's very bizarre.
You got to go all out and be like, oh, he doesn't see it. It's at his feet. Like, the center fielder comes over, and that's what Adam said. Adam was like, he was tweeting back to me today about it. And he was like, yeah, I just started hauling once I saw the center field or the left fielder running over for it.
What's a better clip, Niger Morgan there or Manny cutting off the pickoff for David Newhand?
That's a great clip as well. I like the Niger Morgan clip. I think the Niger Morgan clip
I like the Niger Morgan too.
And it's the Nats.
They're both. I remember watching the David Newhand clip live, being like, "Wait, what just happened? Like, what is going on?" I think I go Niger Morgan just because Niger was a character too. Like, he's. Manny was the top one, but Niger was a nutcase too. Tony Plush.
David Newhand was sweet though.
Oh, David Newhand was.
What a ride that was. Him and Fiorentino.
Linsanity. He was.
What a time to be alive.
Before Linsanity.
Who gets called up directly from Frederick? Not a high prospect at all. Jeff Fiorentino, and just raced.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive that was. By the way, Tuesday, April 18th, put it in your phone. That's day one of the MASN Cup 2023.
Ooh, early this year.
Yeah, just so you have that tweet dialed up.
Do we need to make a MASN a cup? Go around.
We
to the
should
bars?
do that.
Maybe
I would
we
love
should.
that.
Go around to the bars. Like
Remember when the Ravens
Stanley
talk
Cup?
on the X52 podcast, our little show here was we just talked about MASN every week. Thank God that's over.
Here's
Just
another
extended
thing
time.
wrong with streaming.
Here's another thing wrong with what they're doing. By the way, I have not checked out the streaming at all this year.
It's getting revamped going into the season. Going into next season, I will tell you.
Yeah, what a shocker. What a shocker. Starting five draft presented by Fed Thrill. Sunglasses. By the way, it has been picture perfect the last couple of days. I don't know if you guys have ventured outside much, but it has been wonderful. Stood at Maryland men's soccer practice today and just a gorgeous late afternoon as the sun went down. It was awesome. No better place to have your sunglasses out than on those nice days. 20% off. You use the promo code X52 on your Fed Thrill sunglasses. Go get them. Use them. Use them at the tailgates. Use them on these nice days heading into winter. Get your Fed Thrill sunglasses. This Browns midfield thing, that mascot's name is currently escaping me. I looked it up. I had it in front of me to say before the show. What the heck is the name of that thing? Brownie?
I want to say Brownie.
It's Brownie.
Yep.
Brownie is now at midfield, which I actually think is cool. I think it's like a nice inspired idea by the Browns. They like fan serviced a little bit and they've had a helmet at the center of their field. Like stick to Brownie there. That's fine. Good for them. But it got us thinking, it is a bizarre mascot though. I love the people that said it looked like Baker Mayfield. It's very funny. I saw a couple of tweets that were like,
football, but
what an amazing honoring of Baker
Cleveland
Mayfield.
humor there.
Yeah. Worst mascots, physical mascots, not nicknames is how we went about this, I believe. So that is what the starting five draft is going to be. RDT, you have the first pick. I have the second pick.
Ooh.
Brian, you have the third pick. So RDT, you are going to start it off.
I am going to go for worst mascot, the King Cake Baby for the Pelicans.
Yeah, that was on the top of a lot of lists.
Yeah. Do you remember that thing was?
It's creepy.
Terrifying.
It reminds me of the baby from
Rugrats.
Mine was, I was going to say Toy Story, but the Toy Story had that.
No, true.
Sid pops off.
Yeah, Sid pops off, puts on the spider robot.
That was a creepy one.
Yeah. Rugrats fair.
Do you remember that one though, where like Tommy's like older, like younger brother, older?
Oh yeah. I don't know what that was.
That was creepy.
Cousin.
Something like that. He had like a bad dream. That's what it reminds me of because he's like 6'4". He's built.
That's
like
a great
Zion.
show, by the way. That's a great show.
Rugrats.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want.
I don't know if it would have staying power. I'm kind of.
You don't like Rugrats?
You don't want
as a
my
show?
thoughts on
No, I
Rugrats.
liked it. I definitely liked it.
No. I'm talking RDT. You got.
I was always like, yeah, it's okay. Like it's fine. I was never like a diehard Rugrats guy.
I think it's
Rugrats
better
It
than
feels like a
okay.
show that wouldn't play now. Like I've gone back and watched Hey Arnold. Great nowadays.
that holds up.
SpongeBob, obviously great. Rocket Power does not hold up. It does not.
Ooh, I disagree with that. I
Go
think
out on
Power's
Rocket
good.
Power.
Oh
Rocket Power.
no! What are you guys talking about?
By the way, we need to
You
draft
shoobies,
Nickelodeon.
You absolute
Nickelodeon
shoobies.
shows.
Yeah, we should draft cartoons. Yeah, I don't know how we haven't done that.
Doug
You guys are
holds up, too.
shoobies. You guys are absolute shoobies.
I stand by it. Hey Arnold.
Clowns.
See ya.
Rugrats does have one of the all-time worst spin-offs. The all grown up thing that they did with like them in middle school or whatever it was, or going into high school. That is a trash show. Trash. It is so bad. Those movies aren't very good either.
Rugrats in Paris, though, banger of a movie.
Ooh,
Banger
no
of a
way.
VHS tape.
Yes,
Banger of a. It has a good
Song.
soundtrack. Is what it has. I don't think it's a very good movie, but
I
it
like
has
the
a pretty
movie.
good soundtrack.
I like the movie. Also, you guys know about the whole backstory to Rugrats and like what it like a psychiatrist or whatever looked at it, and it's a whole bunch of like weird like behind the scenes like here's what this really meant. Like you have to look those up.
Saw that's a thing that exists that I could read, and I decided to just not get in depth in the origin. No, I have no interest. I don't need to do that.
You need.
I will leave my memories. I will leave the memories that I have of Rugrats right here, and I don't need to like delve into some psychological analysis of the show.
All right.
Just
okay.
Unnecessary.
Well, King Cake Baby. Look him up if you haven't. He's like, again, he's built like Zion Williamson. He's like 6'4", 280. Just a massive, creepy baby that New Orleans like loves those babies for Mardi Gras. Put them in cakes. They do all that stuff. Yes, they put babies in cakes. Take that for however you want.
Can you guys name the breakout song from Rugrats in Paris?
Take me there.
Who let the
Maya.
dogs out?
Oh. What's the Maya song?
The Maya song.
Is that not Rugrats in Paris? Was that the other Rugrats the movie? Did I get those confused?
Yeah, Take Me There's Blackstreet Maya in the first one.
That song is a fucking banger.
Maya. Forgot about Maya.
DMV.
What is Maya's what is her other? She has another. Is
That-
Maya
The
Is
boy is
Maya-
mine, her and Brandy.
is Maya in Lady Marmalade? Am I making that up?
Eve is, I think.
No, she's in it. It's Maya, Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, and Pink, Lady Marmalade.
Yeah,
that
that's
song
what it
bangs.
is.
That song bangs. Maybe Marmalade. All right.
It's a good song.
I'm taking Purdue Pete.
Oh, good
Purdue
pick.
Pete stinks. He's creepy. I've seen him in person, and this is a little bit in some of these colleges that I've seen in person. Gives me a little bit of a different perspective. Purdue Pete is so creepy in person. I don't know how they let that thing around children. It is incredibly bizarre. Sorry to the people that I know and like at Purdue, but that mascot is awful. Purdue does a lot of things well. They have an amazing basketball environment, I will say, but the mascot stinks. Purdue Pete's super creepy. So I'm going to take Purdue Pete. Make sure he gets on my team.
It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. Yeah, I like it.
I had him on mine.
Thanks.
I'm gonna take Screech. We might as well just dunk on the Nationals while we can here. Screech
Sure.
is the Nationals rat bird that they have. He's just there's just like this trend maybe a decade ago where teams started to take their mascots and try to make them look more cartoonish and like family friendly and fun or whatever. And that was when they decided to, create a mascot. And he just, I mean, he's a little bitch bird. I'll say it.
Did you
I know
see
we're all thinking it.
the Oriole bird laid him out today? I think it was today, or it was one of the
No,
presidents.
that was Ben Franklin, I think.
Was that it? Yeah. That's me.
I mean,
On me.
then, or no, was it Teddy? It may have been Teddy.
Probably Teddy. It's always Teddy.
It's always Teddy. Yeah, that's my pick.
Yep.
a good pick.
Good pick. I had him on mine.
And then I'm actually gonna dip back in the well here and take Pierre the Pelican. New Orleans Pelicans. They just love their fucked up mascots. That guy is a terrifying looking bird. The opposite of a bitch bird, I suppose. When they unveiled him, people were like, "Oh my god!" And pelicans are fucking scary animals. Have you been close enough to one where it's like,
They're
"Oh
massive.
my god, those things are terrifying."
They're
Yeah, there's
massive. Yeah.
with their beak and everything. Like, oof, I would not fuck with a pelican.
Good pick. I like it.
That is a good pick. That's a good start to the team. Screech is one I forgot about. I was a little too under my nose there. Right, local. So that's a good pick. I am going to take the Steelers mascot, Steely McBeam.
I had him.
I have to take Steely.
It's basically the same pick.
Yeah, I have to take Steely McBeam.
He
Not
is
a big
Purdue-
Rust
he's Purdue
Belt
kid.
guy.
No,
The blue collar
I'm-
community is taking shots on this podcast. We got Essex and Dundalk getting shots. We got the Rust Belt getting shots.
I don't think anyone would mistake me for blue collar. So I am not exactly the epitome of that situation.
Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, kind of people.
Stealing
Your lunch pail.
McBeam. Yeah. My lunch pail. Pull out the silver spoon and that one. No, Stealing McBeam is mostly because the name. This has stuck with me for a long time. I watched an old part. This is from 15, maybe like 13 years ago. Pardon the interruption. Did a segment about Stealing McBeam, and Kornheiser just deadpanned. That's awful. It's just a porn star name. And it's a porn star name. Steely McBeam is a porn star name. And that's always stuck with me. It's a terrible looking mascot. It's a horrible name. I would have loved to have been in the meetings about a lot of these. I would have loved to have been in the ideation meeting for like, oh, I got it. Steely McBeam. And everyone's just like, yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Run it to the
nailed it. Run it back. Horrible. And it's Pittsburgh, so easy to hate. So I'm taking that.
I like
Sorry to the Rust Belt. I'm just gonna I might just attack Big Ten country this entire time.
Well, I'm gonna follow in that your footsteps there, and I'm taking the Nittany Lion. The wimpy one.
Yeah.
Like that's just a costume from Party City. Like there's nothing fancy about
It's
it. You throw on
bad.
like a scarf and that's it. Like there's nothing to that costume at all. Like the statue that they have that everyone takes their grad pictures in front of, that's at least like a cool looking, Nittany Lion, I guess. This is again, it's just a wimpy little costume. Like it looks like a CVS costume. It looks like a Halloween costume. It's awful. I can't believe that they trot that out there in front of 110,000 every night or every Saturday, whatever. It's awful. It's everything about Penn State is awful. The cult following, but the mascot fits the fan base very well.
One thing that Penn State does, and have either of you guys been to a game at any Penn State event?
Mm-mm.
You may have heard this
Only.
anyway on TV because they play it so much and they play it so loud. They do the like lion roar when like things go well, especially you can hear it in basketball because there's no one in the
Nobody's there.
stands. So it just like
Northwest
echoes and
High School and the Jaguars. Oh,
they stick that they make make it sound so loud. It is so annoying. It's so annoying. When they would score runs, every time they scored a run in baseball, they would play that freaking tiger growl or lion growl. I was like, this is so awful. Thankfully, we swept it every time we went there. Good pick.
My next one, who do I want? Give me Oregon's new duck. Do you remember when they debuted that like sleek looking new duck? I don't know what his name was or whatever, but it has
I think
like
he's got a goofy name too.
probably like Ducky McQuack or something.
They got me.
Yeah, that's just what I know it as, the new duck. Like it's just an awful,
It's horrible. And
he has
how
a
do you
human's body? He's just
robo duck?
Yeah, shocker. Like robo.
And
duck.
how do you mess with perfection? The Oregon duck is so good. It's such a good mascot.
One of the greatest
Sports
clips ever.
commercial. Yeah.
Well, the Sports Center commercial. But then, do you remember when he was coming out? Was it one of the playoff games where he was just waddling out?
It's the best. It's the best.
It's so
the best.
funny.
That mascot is so good.
It's great. Yeah, they like, what are you doing there? It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And nothing about that one is broke. So they tried to do that. I don't know what they did, but it was awful. It's that new like Nike dry fit or whatever, but because he's in like a suit that's like a Batman suit, but it sucks. Everything about it sucks.
I love the Oregon duck. Now I'm just watching Oregon duck clips as I sit here. We should do best mascots at some
That's
point.
exactly what I'm doing. I'm on Twitter just watching. There's just a compilation of all his different tunnel runs.
It's so good. It's so good.
Waddles out.
Where do I want to go here? I think I could get this late because I don't think this might be a guy on your guys' board because it's a little bit of a deeper college cut that was sent to me by my friend Anna a couple years ago. She works within the Big East. I'm taking Friar Dom from Providence.
I have it.
That is one of the creepiest looking things I've ever seen. I don't know how they let that thing out. And for a religious institution to just scare people like that is truly upsetting.
Something with religion is weird. No way.
Oh,
crazy.
Let's not go down that path. So I'm taking Friar Dom. You look it up if you're not aware, listeners. It's creepy. Thanks. You have two.
We're going back to Big Ten country again. I'm taking Stinger, the Columbus Blue Jackets mascot. He's just
I don't know if I'm familiar.
They didn't try to like unbugify him. They just gave him these big ass bug eyes.
Yeah.
Why? I think that, well, his name's Stinger. They're
Oh,
trying to make him a
that
meme.
one's really bad.
Yeah,
I was not
it's
familiar.
terrible. Yeah, it's also they've got the cannon thing going on,
Yeah.
and the Blue Jacket is like it's like a military / like historical type deal. But they just like play it down the middle and do like a Patriot or something. Like that's play it down the middle. Don't get weird with it with a bug. Who gives a shit about a bug?
By the way, they fired that cannon off when I was there doing arena football, and it was insane. Like there's 3,000 people in the stands, and they fired this thing off, and it scared the hell out of everyone. It is awful. Awful. It was very
That
scary.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was very scary. Is it who? You have another
Thanks
one?
again.
Again. I'm gonna take Baby Nut. Fuck Baby Nut. The whole campaign with
Oh,
Mr.
yeah,
Peanut,
yeah.
where they killed off Mr. Peanut. at
Oh,
the Super
you
Bowl.
went to a wow, you went to
Yeah.
a commercial mascot. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I went off the grid here. Baby Nut or Mr. Peanut. I don't know which one is really the pick here, but
It was
this
Baby Nut.
bullshit
Leave it.
campaign
It's
where
Baby
they're
Nut.
just-
I don't think I think Mr. Peanut is not too bad. I like Mr. Peanut, but Baby Nut.
They
You
tried
were
to,
very
like,
early on the
basically-
Baby Nut thing too.
Oh, fuck Baby Nut.
Yeah.
Baby
Yeah, they
Nut was
tried to do
like
this whole thing. They tried to make a whole social campaign during the Super Bowl. They killed off Mr. Peanut, and then they like. It's one of the worst. I hate follow. We should maybe do a hate follow starting five. I'm a big hate follower. If I follow something and I'm like, oh, this just fuels hate in my heart. I followed Mr. Peanut or whatever the handle is because I just hated that ad campaign so much. And now that account, every time it tweets out, it tweets something so fucking stupid and not funny. And I just am out on Baby Nut. Fuck that nut.
many people say that that's what started COVID. That was like
That's not a bad take.
a lot of people say it.
Very reasonable.
A lot of people.
I'm fine. I'm very fine with that take.
It's okay. It is Mr. Peanut. I accidentally went live on TikTok and it's just a picture of a peanut.
You really did hate that nut the entire. I remember like texting. You were texting. You were like, "Fuck that nut!" Like the night of the thing, like in the Super Bowl or whatever. You were just like going after that nut, and I was like, I mean, I can't knock this passion.
Haters will try to roast you, but what they really need is some honey. Hashtag Wednesday thought.
Ugh. Oh my god.
Hold on. It's National Peanut Day. I guess it's at 106. I'm starting to get some nutnesia.
You know, it would be kind of fun to run a social account like that.
Because you get to say whatever.
Well, it's just like you could just sit there and think of like random things to say involving the word nut instead of like, living and dying with the results of every sporting event that happens to your team. It's just like, all right, we're just trying to sell peanuts. Like, let's say nutnesia. Oh, that's cleared by the hierarchy. Let's just post it. Let's schedule it and like go on with our lives. So it'd be kind of interesting.
I want to say I'm
Going to my professional life of thinking.
I am pretty upset. I'm searching at Barstool Banks nut, and I don't see one
Oh,
Baby Nut.
that's shocking. I definitely think you tweeted about it.
Ooh. Best part about it is Durkin's got some of that Harbaugh lineage in him. Let's get nuts.
Oops.
Sheesh.
There's some good ones, but like, I see no Baby Nut.
Banks, you inspired a pick for me here to go corporate world. I'm taking Chuck E. Cheese. That's a freaking creepy thing.
Taking the
On
whole
that
band?
stage. I'm taking Chucky. He stinks.
It was on
That
my
is-
board, but like way down my board.
I'm taking him. I didn't even think corporate, and that thing horrified me when I was a kid. Jake and Chucky, what a joke. Just let me have my pizza in peace. Stop performing on stage. That was horrifying. I can't believe that's a thing that like was entertaining for people. I was horrified by it. Get away.
Their pizza was pretty good though.
By the way, I would like to, I got killed for not being blue collar. I was going to Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, come on.
Every month. Wow, look at you.
That's in every kid place,
Rub it in our face.
That's in every kid place.
Alrighty. This is an easy one. I think the Blue Devil sucks.
Oh, true.
Sucks.
Yeah, that's fine.
He stinks. No one knows what a Blue Devil is.
I actually think that obviously I hate the Blue Devils, but I think that mascot fits into the overall theme of like who they are, like kind of perfectly. Like it's just like hateable and weird and bizarre, and it just kind of works for them. But yes, I agree with what you're saying.
Yep. After that, I'm coming back home to the AL East. I'm going the cat for the Tampa Bay Rays. You know, they have that cat mascot. It makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
His name is like DJ Kitty, I think. Again, makes 0 sense. Don't understand it. Don't like it. It's probably because they have cats living in the ballpark, like the barn or whatever, but it sucks. It sucks. Not a fan. So the cat in Tampa Bay, I didn't even bother to look up his name. I think it's DJ Kitty, though, which I just don't get me started on it. The Rays have a lot of stuff to worry about. A mascot's the least of their worries.
Yeah, they need a stadium. Where do I want to go here? I feel like I missed one. I'm like trying to find it as I sit here and talk. There's so many bad. I'm just gonna take Stanford Tree stinks. The Stanford Tree is awful.
Wow.
Take it.
Yeah, I had to sit and watch the
I
Stanford.
thought you'd be a Stanford Tree stan.
No, and it goes against the fact that I was born at Stanford.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, born at
Wow.
Stanford Children's Hospital.
No big deal.
Son of a doctor in residency, no big deal. So I was at Stanford for that. As my father outperformed any academic dreams that I've ever tried to achieve. But yeah, I wasn't there until I sat in Spokane as the Maryland women's basketball team was unfortunately taking a devastating L in the Sweet 16, and that tree was just stupid. It was just so ridiculous to watch, and it was less entertaining than I thought it was going to be, and I was like, I'm going the other way on this. I don't really like this tree. It's kind of dumb. So Stanford Tree.
Very reasonable pick.
I had it on mine. It was right there with the Blue Devil. I just didn't have those personal feelings behind it.
Thanks.
Wait, is it me?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is. I'm gonna take Jared the Subway guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is he a mascot or a spokesperson?
Embrace the
That's
debate.
interesting. I think he's a spokesperson. I don't think he's a mascot. I think I have to.
Okay,
I think
then.
I'm gonna put.
I mean, I don't care. You can take him.
Yeah, I don't care.
No,
I got
I've got another pick. I got another pick dialed up. So I mean,
I got no.
Yeah.
I got no issues if you want to
Yeah,
take him.
if you want to take him, that's
Not
fine.
someone
do
I
think it's-
personally would want on my team. Just saying, but
well, it's the worst mascot. So
Yeah, sure. Do you want to stay with them or take another pick?
I'll take the ticket out from StubHub.
Okay.
I'm glad you got that. It took a sec, but that's just a weird ass campaign.
It is. That was weird.
And they scrapped that for too long.
Yeah. Fuck that nut. Okay. RDT took the King Cake Baby. That is insane that the Pelicans did the King Cake Baby. Screech. You took Screech. Excuse me. I'm reading wrong. The Nittany Lion, the Oregon New Duck, Robo Duck, the Blue Devil, and the Tampa Bay. What is that thing for the Rays called? The Cat?
I think it's just DJ Kitty.
Jesus.
Ink.
Banks took Screech, Pierre the Pelican, Stinger, the Baby Nut, and the StubHub thing. I took Purdue Pete, Steely McBeam, Friar Dom, Chuck E. Cheese, and the Stanford Tree. What a draft.
This is a good. I see. This is a fun one.
Billy Buffalo was on my honorable mentions. That's a weird looking thing that the Bills have. And I just don't know if I dislike this or like this, but I wrote it down because the name made me laugh as I did research. Sourdough Sam, the 49ers mascot. What a
Did not
name.
know that was the
Sourdough
name.
Sam.
Sourdough Sam is the name of the mascot. I think I kind of like the mascot. The one that triggered me that got ranked really low in an NFL ranking that I think is a good mascot. I like the pirate from the Bucks. I don't know how that's ranked low. I think that's a good mascot.
Yeah,
But-
it fits.
I got no problem with it one way or another. It's
Yeah. Honorable
fine.
mentions.
I had the Philly Fanatic. I thought about taking the Philly Fanatic. I think he's just overrated. Like, what's the fuss about this big green blob?
Gritty's the same thing.
I had
Overrated.
Gritty. Yeah,
I
had
know.
Gritty.
I know.
Anything with Philly.
Yeah.
I had Gritty, Brown's Elf, the Demon Deacon, creepy dude, very creepy dude.
Demon
That's
Deacon is a
also true.
great pick. That should have
Yeah.
gotten. I would have taken that if I'd remembered that. The Demon Deacon is so creepy.
Very weird.
He's a little Mr. Peanutish.
Yeah.
I had the Spurs Coyote, just a very weird coyote.
I didn't even know they had a coyote.
Yeah, look that up. It's a weird one. I had the Padres Swinging Friar, which is kind of like the Providence one.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Philly Fanatic, the Fighting Okra from Delta State. I don't like okra.
There's that Wooshok one from Wichita State that's also really weird.
Yeah, I saw that on a bunch of lists. And then the Western Kentucky Red Blob.
I like the Red Blob.
This is the Red Blob.
I like the red blob.
Good. This is Sports Center commercial with the Red Blob.
Yeah, it was great. And who was it?
Yeah.
Courtney Lee on that Western Kentucky team. They won a
Yes.
game or two. That was a fun.
Yes.
That's when he got like his main shine, was in that tournament run. So
I
there's
think
a bunch
in
he
the
missed.
I think in the Maryland, is it the Western Kentucky mascot in the Maryland 2002 One Shining Moment? He slides on the floor at the beginning. Is that the Western
maybe?
Kentucky mascot? Now I'm researching. I think that's what was Western Kentucky in that tournament.
I don't
I
know.
don't
About
remember.
to find out.
I think it is. Oh, he's just at the begining of the thing. He just sliding on the floor. Go search 2002 One
Yep,
Shining
One
Moment. on
shining
YouTube.
moment.
He just slides on the floor at the beginning. And I don't think I can hate him after that. I think I love him after this. Just at it's like at the 6-second mark.
How does this only have 8,000 views? It was also uploaded
must have-
May 28th,
yeah.
2020 on the official March Madness account. Yeah, that's right. He is there. Yeah, he does the slide. Okay. Yeah. All right. I take him off my list. Sorry. Veto that honorable mention. We gotta
Anything
get more
else?
views on that video though.
Yeah.
I had Bernie, the Heat mascot, is kind of a weird one.
Bernie the Heat.
I actually forget what it looked like.
It's bad though. We swear.
Oh yeah, it's bad. Does he have a basketball for a nose?
Oh yeah, he does. He does have a basketball for a nose. That's weird. I've never seen that.
I had the Mucinex mucus,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
the King from Burger King.
I don't mind the King.
Oh, no, I
kinda
like
the
it.
King.
I like
Yeah,
him.
like
I
the
was
King.
extremely insulted when researching for this draft to see how many times I saw Boltman on lists.
Oh yeah.
Boltman is an institution. Have some respect for Boltman. That's an all-time mascot. And
Mhm.
if we do a
We did the best.
think
I
we
think
did,
you. I think
yeah.
you picked him. Yeah.
I think I took him.
Yeah. I think you did too. I'm
Justice
pretty
for
sure you did.
Boltman. Boltman at like a California hearing
Mhm.
in costume is just one of the funniest things ever.
The best courtroom pictures are like OJ with the glove, Rafael Palmeiro pointing, and then Boltman. Like it's those three. Like
I haven't even thought about my guy side of diarrhea in a while.
yeah, I was gonna say Sierra Nevada.
Wonder if he's doing okay.
Probably. I mean, Justin Herbert's really good.
I just Googled my or Twitter searched any tweet with Boltman in it for me, and I just a random tweet. I just said Boltman didn't die for this. I have no idea what the context is.
It was probably was it last year? It was probably the Ravens beating
It
them
was
last year.
2019.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I bet it was. They played a Sunday night game against the Steelers at one point, where Rivers was just on
His last
just
legs.
on one. Yeah, he was just doing big time Rivers stuff, and I think they missed a field goal to lose it or something.
Sounds about right.
Chargers 2019 season. We can keep
Boltman.
moving.
Good old ball man.
Nick Kinder Medley, Maryland Person of the Week, RDT.
Oh shit, I have nobody.
Wow. Oh, this is so sad.
I got nothing.
You
Jesus.
nothing good happened this week.
No.
All right, we'll throw it to Banks.
Yeah, throw it to Banks.
Ooh.
Dang, can we just take football again?
I was
mean,
gonna,
red
yeah,
zone.
like
It's the red zone is a better answer.
The witching hour
The
specifically.
witching hour was an all-time witching hour. OTs after OTs and teams like all kinds of home dogs that were showing up to play in a big way.
Couldn't imagine.
Thank God the Jets didn't. Yeah. Can't imagine losing in week 1.
Not to a home, not a home team.
Not to a
favorite.
Not to a New York football team.
No, definitely not.
That would suck.
It would be awful. The worst, some would say.
I was gonna say the post 1 o'clock. I kind of have a tradition now. My post instant analysis nap is just tremendous every single time. I think I nap for like a half an hour after every time we recorded instant analysis. I'm just like, all right, I need to get a nap in, and then I go watch the rest of the 4 o'clock games, and then I watch the night football. Sometimes, unless the 4 o'clock game is awesome, I will a lot of times just skip the 4 o'clock games.
They were good 4 o'clock games.
Yeah, they were good.
Do you do your Mickeys during the 1 o'clock games or later?
Correct. So I do the Mickeys, the 1 o'clock games, and so it's just a food coma. So I kind of come out of a food coma as I'm doing this podcast, and then I return back into it when it's over, and I have to sleep because do the cheesesteak, do the curly fries like around like 1:30. And I gotta be honest, the fourth quarter of the Ravens game was a struggle. I think with like 5 minutes to go, I was like, guys, we can just jump on whatever. Because I just
you did.
You pulled the me. You pulled the like.
Yeah. Usually trying to get a blog up at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, I am falling asleep because I'm in a total food coma right now. But yeah, I mean, red zone has to be set in this category. It is just the best. It is so good. Red zone on one TV, Ravens on the other TV for me is just the best. It's just lovely every Sunday, and that's what I do. I do have to give an honorable mention, and this is some of the. I don't know if did you guys watch 60 Minutes after the 4 o'clock games?
No,
never once.
No,
never will I ever.
The piece they did this week on the FDNY and 9/11 was an amazing piece. Amazing.
Now you're gonna make us feel like assholes.
No, I'm not. I mean, that's your guys' fault for not trying to be cultured or informed.
I knew you were going to work the word cultured in at some point.
Yeah, of course.
After you just shit on the Rust Belt for 2 hours.
Well, they're not cultured. So what do you
want
from
them? Stanford.
Yeah. It was like an amazing. It just like that was, and then it gets you into reading like the couple of pieces that float around, like I don't know if you guys have read like the story, the oral history from Politico of like the only plane in the sky about like Air Force One flying and by itself during 9/11. It's just like, obviously that it was amazing. And I bring this up because it was amazing to me last week. I'm like in the office with people and 30 years old, like the people like got kids just out of college, like 23, 24, they have like no recollection of 9/11 in terms of like where they were at all. And that's fascinating to me as someone that at 9 years old, that's sort of like you remember all the beats of the day and when your parents came and picked you up and watching what you watched and how it affected people, and obviously affected people way more than someone like me who didn't know anybody involved or whatever. But it's just a fascinating sort of like generational break. And I hope that people like I hope this doesn't sound like an old man take, but like I hope that people like go and like read those and watch those, because I think to truly understand like the emotion and the significance of that stuff, when everyone now lives in this world that was forever changed by it, you have to like understand that. Or like I talked about it when we went to the Pinstripe Bowl in December, that everyone should go to the 9/11 Memorial Museum. It's like an incredibly profound and transformative experience to go to. And that just reminded me of that this week. That's like, like if you're 23, you just don't, there's just no recollection of that. And you just understand everything in a post 9/11 world, but actually weren't there to like consume what happened. It's kind of interesting.
There was some TikTok, I forget who posted it, but like someone had posted it on Instagram, and it was someone like interviewing someone on a college campus, and someone was like, what are your thoughts on 9/11? And again, this kid was like a freshman or sophomore, and he was like, nobody my age cares about it. Like we just don't know anything about it. And it was just like, Jesus,
it's so Christ, bizarre. Like, it makes no sense.
It was very like, I don't know if it was like a fake like outrage, like they just wanted to get under people's skin, but yeah, it was just like, what is going on? But no, I mean, I get it, because like my wife teaches kids that weren't alive for it, like they're reading about it in textbooks, like it's our World War II, wild. It's wild stuff. It did. And it sucks because it felt like 9/11 kind of got it just felt like it didn't get the coverage it usually does because it was like NFL Sunday.
The
like
national anthem, the naturally sung national anthem where they let the fans do it at MetLife was cool.
I heard about it. I didn't see it. I didn't know if
it was cool. It was cool. It was cool. They had like a
orchestrated or
police woman sing the anthem, and she like broke it off and allowed the crowd to go, and then she brought it back. She actually brought it back right after the O, which I think was really smart. They must have kind of known that the O was coming from the Ravens fans, and then she rolled back into it. It was a really cool tribute. They had obviously the giant flag at all the games, and so you guys have never gotten caught up by a 60 minutes segment ever. You've never like seen the preview.
I switch
never once.
So
I will
quick.
never.
So quick.
Wow, I do that frequently.
I hear the tick, 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 and I'm like, nope.
Really? You've
Never.
never just like watching to see if it's going to be a good segment. They're really good segments.
Never have I ever.
I'm going to give an honorable mention of 60 Minutes. They do good reporting on there.
That's what somebody born at Stanford would do. Like,
oh my God.
Because when I was in high school or middle school, that's when I was starting my homework.
Boys.
That's when I was starting my homework.
Now you're going at
Dundalk. Listen.
I will stand on the table and pound my fist in defense of Dundalk. Why is Dundalk getting raked over the coals?
RDT started it. RDT started it.
You finished.
I'm just piling on. It was the easiest target. It's a callback. We call that a callback.
Beer with me on Sunday, Dundalk. Lot H. Let's go. Tailgate.
Yeah, are you gonna be at the tailgate? Thanks.
We'll see. We'll see.
RDT, are you gonna make your way down for any Ravens tailgating this year? Are you gonna make an appearance?
That face answer that question.
Oh, that was tough. If you go watch the YouTube, you can observe that one.
Probably not. I don't know. I have no interest in. You know how many times I got offered free tickets for the Ravens Titans preseason game, and I was like, no. But I was like, I'm not going to that. Like, I don't.
I mean, preseason football.
Unless I'm playing in the game, I do not anticipate going.
I can't wait to go to the tailgates now and just get accosted by all these people that I've now.
The Dundalkians.
I'm gonna be a heel at these things now.
By the way, you want to talk about a heel? The Orioles tweeting Dundalk is closed. Well,
Dundalk is very much on the mind right now.
Well, Walgreens is closed for the night. Just is chef's kiss. Closing down Walgreens for the night. I love that. I will drive that joke into the ground every single day.
Walgreens.
The best.
What a show for Dundalk. What a show for 60 Minutes. What a show in general. That's it for this week's episode of the X2 podcast. A lot going over there. Hopefully, in the next couple weeks, the Orioles will make a magical run. That's all we can ask for, right? Just a little magic. Just a little Orioles magic next week and a half. Let's have this be fun for the rest of the way.
And next, the Orioles are running ticket specials for the Houston series next week. Trey comes home. I'm going to the game Thursday. Again, that's just like you gotta show out that series, I think, regardless of what happens. But
there you have it. That could be the last stand, theoretically, maybe.
Yeah.
If it goes poorly next week. Follow us on all of our social media channels at Taylor Smith 10, at Barstool Banks, at EDITTI 22. X52 on all X52 podcasts on all of the different social media platforms as well. Sponsors: Fed Thrill, Thread Level Midnight, Jimmy Seafood. Good. Was it a good turnout? The Jimmy Seafood bus. Do we have any report back?
Yeah,
Seems like it was going well.
Yeah, I think it was a good number of people on the bus trip. I know I got invited. I could not make it, but I wish I was there. It would have been nice. I saw people tweeting. They said it was a good time. So great game to go to as well.
And we have
Perfect
to
weather.
throw it out. First home game of the year. And I know this doesn't do any of our promotion, but what Jimmy's does with the tailgate every week is pretty amazing. So if that's something you're interested in doing, I would suggest buying tickets for it and supporting Jimmy's and the show they put on over there. A stone's throw from me and Banks. So make sure to support that. And we will see you Sunday after the Ravens home opener for the instant analysis. Make sure to tune into that. If you want our full thoughts on last Sunday's game, make sure to go check that out. If you have not, instant analysis after every single Ravens game. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever the heck they play it, we will be on right after giving our thoughts. So join us Sunday. And we will see you then on the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood.